All right. Is my background decent? I think so. There's no trash. There's no crappy looking stuff on the back. Um, let me notify on social media that I am now live at youtube.com/ramascreen1 so everybody could join in on the conversation. I am now too. Holy crap. It's been quite the busy past week for yours truly. Um, in addition to waking up early in the morning to watch all the soccer matches. Well, not all, but the great ones, like this morning with Mexico versus Germany and Brazil versus Switzerland. That was fantastic, excellent game. Whether or not you like the result, you gotta admit it was a fantastic, exciting match. Um, My team is Argentina. Unfortunately, they did not play as beautifully yesterday as I wanted them to. I think because well, spoiler alert, after Messi missed the penalty kick, that's the morale of the team kind of just like whoo went down, and they couldn't you know come back after that. It was pretty sad. It was pretty disappointing. All right, so let's get right to it. I think I've notified on social media that I'm live. Got a lot of topics to talk about today. Uh, Feel free to chime in on the chat section, and I will be going through the topics one by one after the next, so we can make sure we get this through efficiently. First of all, happy Father's Day! Happy Father's Day! Oh, Tyler says, "Hey, Tyler, thanks for joining in." Tyler says, "At least your team is in the World Cup." That's right. Argentina is in the World Cup. I would love it for USA to have joined in, but unfortunately, US did not make the qualification. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, it comes with being a host. So, US, Mexico, and Canada will be the hosts into 2026. So automatically, if you are the host, you are in the World Cup. So, but I don't know about 2022. So we'll see whether or not US will have a better team by then. First of all, happy Father's Day to Rama Screen patrons. There are two Rama Screen patrons who are fathers, who are dads themselves, and they are Ricky Nadabdab and John Razuk. I believe Ricky has two kids, two sons, and so does John Razuk. John is his wife, and Ricky and his wife. So happy Father's Day to both of you. Thank you so much for your contributions to help Rama Screen channel and the website throughout the past year. You guys have been so awesome. Of course, it goes without saying that being a father, man, that's woo. I'm not a father, so I can't put myself in your shoes. That's like it's a gigantic responsibility. On top of the fact that you are pretty much a superhero in the eyes of your children. They look up to you like you are their Superman, like you are their Batman, protecting them, making sure their future is awesome and fine. And so, providing, of course, every day. So, on that fact alone, you guys are amazing. So, thank you, Ricky and John, for being Rama Screen patrons for being fathers. Happy Father's Day to you. Second topic here. This past week, or actually, yeah, a couple of days ago, I was at the grand opening of Kung Fu Panda: The Emperor's Quest. It's a new attraction at DreamWorks Theater inside the Universal Studios Hollywood. Now, I don't know if Universal Orlando also has the same attraction. Sometimes, you know, both coasts would have both things. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you can only find it on in one of the places. So basically, what they did was that they changed the Shrek 4D experience completely. So the Shrek ride is gone, and they've replaced it with Kung Fu Panda. And so I was there covering the grand opening. It was fantastic. It was spectacular. There were fireworks. DreamWorks presidents and executives were there doing the ribbon cutting ceremony, and a bunch of they even got a bunch of like martial arts students performing kung fu shit, man. It was like amazing spectacle. It was just like about 20 minutes of them just like uh, uh, dancing and performing martial arts. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. It was like watching little Bruce Lee's running around. And then we the press got in, and it. I don't want to spoil it too much for you guys, but it's basically a cinematic experience. So there's a story on the screen of Kung Fu Panda Po, Po and the Master Wishu and the other characters. They're trying to get this thing because they have to have a MacGuffin or an object, right? That they're taking this thing to the emperor. So that's the goal of the story. And so the bad guys want to take this MacGuffin away for themselves, or want to steal it. So on that journey, things happen. Fights with the bad guys. The bad guys, I mean the wolves. And then they got to the emperor, and one of the wolves strikes a Ming hammer, and they're transported to another realm, another like dimension, and the fight continues there too. It was awesome because not only it's happening on the screen in front of you, but it's happening on the screens around you too. Poe goes to the left and the right everywhere, so your head is like, whoa, what's going on? And the seats, of course, is like simulation, so it moves like a smell-o-vision. You feel it every time Poe kicks or gets kicked. The seats would vibrate. I like that. It's like the seat would have a, I call it the feel good setting. Every time it vibrates, like, oh, I like this. Yeah, vibrate some more. Um, so maybe that part is not necessarily kid friendly. um, but yeah, it's very family fun enjoyment. I'm sad that Shrek the ride had to be replaced, by this. If only Universal Studios Hollywood has more space, more land areas. I mean, come on, guys. If you've been to Universal Studios Hollywood, you gotta admit, right? If you've gone recently and if you've gone in the past, you gotta admit that a part of you kind of misses the old rides, like Back to the Future or the Terminator ride. Remember? Oh man, I know they're outdated, but they're still awesome. I love the Terminator ride, the Terminator show that they had, the 3D thing. It's no more because of the Harry Potter land now. It's like because I think there's more space in Orlando. I think in Orlando, I don't know if you guys can correct me if you live in the East Coast. That whenever they build new attractions, that they don't have to necessarily replace the old ones because they're like, okay, we'll just build them right there. There's empty space over there. Here in LA, you can't, man. You can't. So I miss ET ride. Oh, I loved ET when I was growing up. It's like, oh, there's no more. So next year, Jurassic Park the ride will be transformed into Jurassic World the ride. I don't know if you guys saw the news this past week. So make sure if you live in LA area, guys, go to Universal Studios Hollywood and enjoy Jurassic Park the ride as much as you can, because by September, and this is the news I got straight from Universal Studios, by September they will close the ride. They will close up the ride, board it up, and so until the grand opening of Jurassic World the ride, summer 2019. So you have till September to enjoy Jurassic Park the ride. If that is your favorite ride in Universal Studios Hollywood, make sure you go there as often as you can while it lasts, because it's gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone. Um, and I'm sure that doesn't have to happen in Orlando, Universal Orlando. All right. So next topic. Oh, Tyler says, "All right, Jurassic World the ride. Each person gets a pair of heels to run around." Fantastic, fantastic. That's a brilliant idea, Tyler. instead of instead of like a poncho to keep you from getting wet, from the water, they give you a pair of heels. That's By the way, guys, real quick, before I get to the next topic, uh, Tyler and I just did a collabo video. I will be posting that video tomorrow. We talked about Jurassic Park 25th anniversary and a bit about our anticipation for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So make sure you watch that video. It'll be up tomorrow on Monday. All right, Monday, June 18th. So I want to thank Tyler Calvert for joining me on that collabo video. And make sure you guys subscribe to Tyler's YouTube channel. He's a fantastic movie reviewer as well. I'll After this live stream, I'll post the link to his YouTube channel in the description box below the video. Next topic, I want to share with you real quick my thoughts before I get to one of the big news. Um, this Oh, I'm sorry, not yeah. This past Friday, there you go. I did my first experience moderating a Q&A post screening. So that's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Oh, you. Oh, please don't stand. Please don't stand. We're all friends here. But I just want to say I'm very happy and proud of myself for having done that. I want to give a quick shout out to my good friend Scott Menzel. I call him a brother of mine, brother Scott. He is the founder of LA Online Film Critics Society. He guided me through the process of preparing for this first time experience of mine of moderating Q&A. I had never done that before. Prior to Friday, I had never done a moderate. Nobody ever asked me before. So, of course, next to Scott, I want to thank Blake Jenner and director Bradley and producer Robert Ulrich and actor Grant Harvey and the publicist at 42 West who entrusted me with this responsibility. I guess they liked my interview with Blake Jenner so much so that they wanted me to moderate for them. I'm assuming that's the reason, but it's cool. If I came there at the theater on Friday night, right before the screening ended. There were, quite a number of people there. It's an independent theater, okay? It's an independent movie, so don't expect the number to be like, a Regal Cinema kind of audience or an AMC theater kind of audience. So it's an indie film and an indie theater, but Blake Jenner showed up, Bradley, Grant, and Robert Ulrich, four talents, and we got to the front of the audience. There were 5 seats. I sat in one of them with microphones on, and we talked. We talked about the film. I asked them about their experience. I asked them about the most difficult part about shooting it, and then I threw a couple of questions to the audiences, and the audiences were so engaging. They asked questions, and it was just so much fun. I had a blast. So I hope I get asked again. I don't know if anybody else would notice. It's like, hey, I like Rama's way of our line of questioning. Let's have him moderate our stuff too. So, but for a first timer, I thought I did well, and it was like a well-oiled machine. Everything went smoothly that night. So, and afterwards, hugs all around. I was gonna shake hands with Blake, but Blake is like, "Come here," and it's closing. Like Blake gave me a hug. It's like, "Oh, cool. I guess I'm on a hug basis now with Blake Jenner, so that's cool." So thank you, Blake. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everybody, for helping me through the process. And I hope this won't be the last time. I want to moderate again. But yeah, until then, I'll continue to do my best on what I do every day to provide news and entertainment reviews for every one of you guys. All right, so the first big news, Pinar Toprak. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. She is a female score composer, and she has been hired by Marvel Studios to write the music score for Captain Marvel movie. This marks Pinar as the first time female composer of an entire score for a major superhero movie project. So this is a big deal, guys. I know a lot. Maybe some of you are like, oh, so what? It's just another composer. But no, no. This is the first time. This has never happened before. When it comes to Marvel, we expect names like John Debney um, or Alan Silvestri, which is fine. They're amazing talents. But somebody like Pinar Toprak, who's an number one South Asian, I think, descent, and then female, to be in charge of something as big as Captain Marvel, as big project like this, that's a big deal. So congratulations to Pinar Toprak. I hope I did not butcher that name incorrectly. And this also goes to show that Marvel Studios continues to be um, in the forefront of championing diversity in this industry. And I'm glad they do that. You've heard me before that how much I hated Thor Ragnarok, but the fact that Marvel gambled on Taika Waititi and allowed him to Taika Waititi's Thor, basically, making Thor be a Taika's sense of humor kind of movie. That's something to be respected. I may not disagree with it, but I respect it at least. And as opposed to WB, who kept hiring Zack Snyder again and again and again. I was like, come on, Zack Snyder's not the only talent in this business. Come on, WB, gamble on other talents as well. So for Marvel to have hired Pinar, it's amazing. I can't wait to hear the music. Captain Marvel stars Brie Larson as the title character, and Brie Larson is a very uh, strong public voice of feminism. So I'm assuming she has some kind of a contribution to Pinar being hired. Who knows? But for a movie that stars a female superhero to have a female composer as part of it, that's just fantastic. The movie comes out March 8th, 2019, and so make sure you mark that on your calendars. All right, the next topic. I don't know if you guys have seen it. New images of Aquaman movie have arrived. They've hit the web. I believe it was Entertainment Weekly that have those new images. You can check it out at ramascreen.com, or by tomorrow when I have this video individualized by each topic, I'll include the images in this video. So what are my thoughts about, because some of the images showed Black Manta, the villain, and Willem Dafoe's character. I believe his name is Vulko. And also some of the environments, underwater environments in the kingdom of Aquaman. I don't know, man. I'm still. I guess if you put like level 1 to 10 of enthusiasm of how excited I am about this movie, I would say right now is number 6. All right. I'm a big fan of director James Wan, so I guess I'm gonna go based on that alone for now. I was not too crazy about Jason Momoa as Aquaman in the movie Justice League, but I'm assuming that's more of the script's problem. So we'll see how the script is for Aquaman movie, and if Jason Momoa can deliver it well, or deliver the character just with justice. Um, so far, I was not impressed by his thing in Justice League movie. But we'll see how James Wan shapes Jason Momoa's Aquaman in this standalone movie. So the images look okay. I don't hate it, and I don't love it. They're just okay. Um, Judging by WB's DCEU track record, so far there's only Wonder Woman that's decent. So you can't be, it's like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Oh yes, Aquaman's gonna be awesome. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Okay, I'm not at that place yet. We'll see about the trailer. The trailer, James Wan tweeted that the trailer will show up or will make its debut at San Diego Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con. Yes, it's coming up, I believe, the third week of July. If you guys can't make it to San Diego, that's, I totally understand. But don't worry, don't fret, because I will be there as always every year. So make sure you follow my updates on Twitter and on Facebook. On Twitter, that's at Rama Screen, RAMASSCREEN, because I will be live tweeting Comic Con like crazy. All right, I will tweet the shit out of it. Like you you'll be like looking at your Twitter every 5 minutes or so, and find new tweets from Rama Screen. I was like, what the hell? It's like every 5 minutes or so, Rama Screen is like flooding my smartphone, man. So that's what I do every summer. So make sure you check out the updates and see whether or not I like Aquaman trailer, which will debut in Hall H panel for the movie. All right, so the next topic, guys, is Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman 1984. Okay, let's see here. Have you guys seen the new images? I believe, I want to say, is it Entertainment Weekly? No, 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 not Entertainment. It was released by Patty Jenkins herself, the director. There's also a new image tweeted out by Gal Gadot as well. So I believe a total of 3 new images so far of this sequel, this much anticipated sequel. I gotta be, well. Here's the thing. I am very impressed by how quickly they're moving forward with this sequel. I mean, like, we just had the first movie last year, and already we're gonna have the sequel arriving next year, November 2019. So they're really capitalizing well on the success of the first movie, and understandably so. Um, excuse me. Director Patty Jenkins will return, and lo and behold, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Chris Pine is back as Steve Trevor. What the hell? What the hell? Spoiler alert, guys. If you guys haven't seen Wonder Woman movie last year, I don't know why you haven't seen it, but Steve Trevor died in that movie. He got killed. I believe the scene was, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Um, he's flying a plane full of bombs, and so he sacrificed himself. Yeah, um, that's basically it. And a lot of people were pretty pissed at that death scene. I know a friend of mine is like, "Come on, what the hell is that?" Because at the moment when Chris Pine's character Steve Trevor, was about to sacrifice himself, uh, Wonder Woman, or Diana, was kind of entrapped around this metal cage, because she was fighting the god of war. So this metal that was just like holding around her, like, and my friend said, like, dude, Wonder Woman could have released herself from that easily, instantly, and saved Steve Trevor just like that. flew to the sky. So the idea of Wonder Woman couldn't, get herself out of that predicament in time to save Steve Trevor, that's just ridiculous to some folks. And you know what? They have a good point. They made pretty good argument there. I can't argue with that. So I guess that's gonna go down as one of the movie's flaws, if you will. Um, I think bringing back Steve Trevor for the sequel is a bad idea. In my opinion, I believe a renowned critic by the name of Scott Mendelson, he did a whole lengthy article on Forbes detailing his opinion on why he thinks bringing back Steve Trevor is a bad idea. So you can read his article there on Forbes. Um, but why I think it's a bad idea, eh, dude, it's like the same reason why resurrecting characters in Gotham again and again was a bad idea. All right, it cheapens the grief, the loss, the impact of losing someone. That's supposed to be part of the drama. But if you Jon Snowize, I don't know, whatever verb you want to do, in reference to Game of Thrones character Jon Snow who got resurrected. If you want to pull a Jon Snow every single time, or on character that's supposed to, whose loss is supposed to have an impact on our protagonist, it cheapens that death. It cheapens that drama. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, all that for nothing. I guess you can just bring back just about anybody now. It's like there's no real threat. All right, so that's how I feel about this new image of Steve Trevor in a mall with background characters that look, with wearing outfits that's straight up looking like from the 80s, obviously, because 1984. Um, as far as the timeline goes, I'm okay with that. Obviously, we're in the day and age where nostalgia is a big deal. All right, and I'm not talking about just Stranger Things. Um, I'm talking about Bumblebee movie that's set in the 80s, Captain Marvel movie that's gonna be set in the 90s. So nostalgia is a big deal. Everybody wants to remember the good old days. So I have no problem with Wonder Woman being set in the 1984. Um, Although I was not a fan of President Reagan. But yeah, the timeline thing, that's totally fine. I just have problem with Steve Trevor coming back. So hopefully the script's gonna be solid, but I'm gonna save my enthusiasm and reservation until the trailer comes out, whenever that is. All right, next topic. Woo! Netflix rescued Lucifer. Yeah, Lucifer. Where's my fellow Lucifer fans out there? I am a huge fan of the recently canceled Fox show Lucifer, um, which is based on, I believe, Vertigo comics, about the devil who came to Los Angeles and partnered up with a detective. So it's a procedural investigative show. Every week there's case, and of course there's a kind of connecting story arc that's part divine, part not divine. Um, and so Fox canceled the show this past spring, to everybody's surprise and dismay. Even the cast members are like, "Oh no, why?" I was one of those like, "No!" Spoiler alert, because at the end of or in season finale, Amenadiel got his wings back, and he flew Charlotte's dead body to heaven. Charlotte took the bullet and sacrificed herself to save Amenadiel. So I was like, I want to see that. I want to see what happens next. Come on, don't cancel it. And after Brooklyn Nine-Nine got saved by NBC, and The Expanse got saved by Amazon, um, we were the Lucifer fans. We're like on the edge of our seats, like, oh come on, somebody, please save Lucifer, somebody. And for a long time, it was like there was no news about it. So for this announcement finally arrived that Netflix has picked up the show for a fourth season, it's to me it's a relief. Like you know, part relief, part ecstatic, part joy. And the fact that it's on Netflix, it means that we can binge watch it. We don't have to wait every week for the next episode. So that's great. Um, so we could see the whole totality of season 4 of whatever shenanigans that the devil, deliciously played by Tom Ellis, is up to next on this streaming giant services. The cast members were so happy. They were elated. You could see their tweets online. Tom Ellis and the name escapes me right now. Oh, she plays Detective Chloe. Why can't I remember her name on the top of my head? Lauren Germain. There you go. That's her name. Lauren Germain and Leslie Brandt, Amy Garcia. They all tweeted and they were just so crazy about the fact that Netflix has kept them employed. So I'm happy. People don't have to lose their jobs. Not just the actors, but the craft services, the crews behind the scenes. The behind the cameras, the directors. So we often forget that a show, just like a movie, is made by a village. It takes a village to produce it. So I'm happy. I'm happy for all those guys. I can't wait. We don't know yet. We don't know yet how many episodes season 4 will have. I'm guessing because it's on Netflix, it's gonna be a Netflix kind of regular episode count, which is 13, which is fine because I think I've mentioned to you guys this before. I like the 13 episode format. That means that as opposed to 23 or 22, because the writers in the writers' room, they could just focus on making sure that it has a great story arc without any filler episode. I hate filler episodes. Episodes that are just there just to kill time because like, oh, we have to hit number 22 somehow. I guess let's see. Let's write something for episode 19 or episode 18. No. So there's not gonna be like that. So it's gonna be like a solid kind of 13 episode count season, and that's great. I like that. Let's just get straight to the point, make it a good one. All right. Before we get to the last topic, let's see. Did I miss anything? Oh, real quick before we get to the last topic, Dances with Films Festival. I did Dances with Films Festival 2018 this past week. I believe this was my third year doing the event. My thoughts about it. I had a blast. If you guys don't know, let me fill you in. Dances with Films is a film festival for independent movies. That's that always happens at the Chinese 60, like lower than those. And I want to champion those movies too, because these are independent artists that, man, dude, if you talk to them, man, they're like they have their own busy lives. Some of them have debts. Some of them have, it's like, oh, I took time out of my job just because I wanted to tell this story. I wanted to make this film. Their hearts are really into films, cinema loving people. And so they scrape whatever pennies that they can gather up or they can collect together. The casting directors, they're independent casting directors too, so they're not big studio budget casting directors. So these are not. So Dances with Films, they don't have celebrity names. They don't have big names, and I want to champion those little events like this one, because I believe in making movies in whatever level of budget it is or it may be. All right. So yeah, it's fun every week to be covering Disney movies, or to be covering Universal junkets, or to be covering Lionsgate interviews. It's fun. It's awesome. I love the opportunities. I love the honor of interviewing those A-listers. But I don't want to forget the little guys. What I did at Dances with Films 2018 is that I interviewed the artists on the red carpet. They call it the green carpet. On the green carpet, I could only do Saturday of last week and this past Thursday. But man, what's awesome about it is that um, whenever I do red carpet for big budget studio movies, oftentimes, I don't, sometimes I don't get the talents. Sometimes, because it's a long, long carpet and there's so many other bigger names like, Mario Lopez and Access Hollywood, whatever, what have you. That when the stars, that the stars only did those big names, and when they got to the little guys like me, they're like, they skipped us and they just went into the screening. That happens a lot. Now, at Dances with Films or little film festivals like this one, they actually took the time to talk with you because they want the press, they want the publicity, and it's awesome. Like, Rama, come talk with us, come interview us. The directors and the actors, and when I post the video interviews on YouTube and tag them, and they're like, oh, so they're so happy, they're joy. So it makes me happy to see them happy that they get press, that they get publicity. And the Dances with Films founder, one of the founders, came up to me and was like, Rama, thank you so much for being here. We need as much publicity as we could get. We don't get that often, so thank you for being here. Because aside from me, there's only like a few other press, and then the house press, the press that's with Dances with Films. So I loved covering Dances with Films. Thank you, DWF, for having me there. Thank you for thank you to all the talents, to the directors, writers, stars who talked with me on the green carpet. You guys are amazing. Keep doing what you do. Keep making films. Don't let the fact that your films may be low budget. Don't let that fact get you down. Keep telling stories. If you're passionate about telling stories in a film medium, then keep doing them. All right. Network, collaborate, do your teamwork, create. Your art. This is a tough one. And I think I'm gonna get some lagged or some complaints about this, but I want to share my thoughts anyway. It's okay if I get flagged for this. Everybody has their own opinions about this topic, and I'm talking about the whole Chris Hardwick controversy. So what happened here? What happened? Let me look. Let me bring up on my screen here. I think I'm gonna go to my trusted source, Deadline. I go to Deadline for everything. Let's see here. Oh, there you go. Okay, so what happened this past week was that Chloe Dykstra, I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. If I didn't, I apologize, Chloe. She posted a publicly published letter, unlisted though, on Medium, and that went viral. And I don't want to read the entire thing, but basically, let me just sum it up for you guys. Chloe, in her letter, she did not mention Chris Hardwick's name, but Chloe was Chris's ex-girlfriend before Chris ended up marrying Lydia Hearst, who is the daughter of Patty Hearst. So in her letter, Chloe says something along the lines, and I'm paraphrasing here, that She did not mention Chris Hardwick's name, but she mentioned that uh, this person is a mildly successful podcaster who grew into a powerhouse CEO of his own company. Now, when she said that, come on. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that that's Chris Hardwick that she's referring to. Chris started out as a podcaster. Nerdist started out as a podcast, and it became this giant Nerdist Industries that got bought out. It got bought out by Legendary Entertainment, I believe. I want to say last year or 2 years ago. So very successful stuff. And in her letters, she says something along the line of she was not allowed to go out at night. She was not allowed, and when she was in a relationship with Chris, Chloe said she was not allowed to have male friends. She was not allowed to speak in public places. She said that Chris was controlling, and she was even controlled by Chris on the bed in the bedroom. Like, um, Chris would demand her to have sex with him, even when she was not in the mood or when she was feeling sick. So Chloe said something along the lines of like, I had to just kind of go with it. And sometimes I would cry as he was having sex with me because I did not want to have sex at that time. And I think she also went sick at one point. She went to the hospital with her mother, and the doctor, you know, after the doctor advised her on what her condition was, Chris was there and he pulled the doctor aside and asked the doctor, "Okay, now when can I have sex with her again?" And Chloe said that her mother was there and she listened to, she heard it. She heard Chris say that to to the doctors. Like, how insensitive is that? Now, Chris has responded. Chris has responded. It took a while. Chris was silent for about almost a day or so, and then Chris actually responded to Deadline, and Chris said, let me read to you here. I want to make sure I get the quote right, and I quote: "I was heartbroken to read Chloe's post. Our 3-year relationship was not perfect. We were ultimately not a good match and argued, even shouted at each other. But I loved her and did my best to uplift and support her as a partner and companion in any way. And at no time did I sexually assault her." Um, Chris went on to say that Chloe cheated on him and stuff like that. So, um, now, maybe I got ahead of myself here. If you guys don't know who Chris Hardwick is, I mentioned earlier he started out as a podcaster and he grew this empire, Nerdist Industries, that he sold to Legendary Entertainment. He's also a stand-up comedian, so he does stand-ups, and he's a talk show host as well. So he hosts Talking Dead, which is a show right after the Walking Dead episodes, pretty much discussing the episode with the Walking Dead stars. And he also hosted Midnight on Comedy Central, which I think it got canceled recently. And AMC has a new show with Chris Hardwick called Talking with Chris. So basically, it's a late night, kind of thing. Well, late night has been saturated, man. There's so many late night hosts. I was like, I can't keep up with them. So AMC's late night is with Chris Hardwick. It's called Talking with Chris. And so I think they have their new season supposedly this Sunday or today. So that's a bit about Chris Hardwick for you guys. He's very influential. He's one of the most well-known nerds or geeks around. And he's very insightful, very informative. He knows what he's talking about. He's very knowledgeable. And I had the opportunity of interviewing him on the red carpet once, and he seemed like a nice guy. But I don't know Chris the person well. Obviously, I'm not friends with him. I just interviewed him for that one moment. So yeah, that's a bit about Chris for you guys. And Chloe, she's also a cosplayer. She's also an actress. So that's a bit about Chloe Dykstra for you. Chris's current wife, Lydia Hurst, is a daughter of Patty Hearst. Patty Hearst is famous. Patty, if you guys don't know history, she is that woman who got kidnapped by the guerrilla movement in the 70s, I believe, and she got brainwashed into joining them. I believe she already got pardoned for her involvement with that rebels, with the rebellious group. So that's a bit about Patty's history. So okay, so that's giving the context to you guys. So what are my thoughts about this? When this first hit the web on Friday morning, it went trending like crazy. Even film critic Scott Weinberg tweeted like, "I will never write for Nerdist anymore. I love the guys working at Nerdist, but I don't want to be associated or affiliated with anything that's associated with Chris Hardwick." Now that's fine, but Chris Hardwick is not affiliated with Nerdist anymore. Like I said, he sold Nerdist to Legendary Entertainment. So soon after the whole Chloe's letter went viral, Legendary Entertainment released a statement, distancing themselves from Chris Hardwick. They said, "We have nothing to do with Chris Hardwick anymore." And Nerdist themselves, they distance themselves from Chris Hardwick. Like they scrubbed Chris Hardwick's name from one of the founders of Nerdist. I was like, whoa, that's pretty bold. Um, so it's as if Chris Hardwick never founded Nerdist now. Um, so that's the fallout. And I believe yesterday AMC decided to suspend the new season of Talking with Chris. Like I said, I believe it's supposed to air tonight, this Sunday. So AMC decided to suspend it, and Nerdist removed Chris's name from foundership, and AMC suspended the show pending investigation. They said, and then Chris Hardwick himself decided to pull himself from moderating two panels at the upcoming Comic-Con. He was scheduled to moderate Doctor Who panel and the Walking Dead panel, and that's no longer the case. So that moderator seat is now up for grabs. It's not like they're gonna offer it to me. I just had my first moderating experience this Friday, so but I'm about hopefully somebody good will take care of that. So that's the fallout of this. Now, first time this happened on Friday morning, I saw it trending, and I was on the camp of kind of like see who has the kind of like who has the smartest comments about it on Twitter. And I was like, okay, when just like whenever this kind of scandal happens, my first reaction was like, okay, I guess Christopher Plummer will have to replace Chris Hardwick now as the new moderator at Comic-Con. So that's my playful humorous approach to this all. But on a serious note, though, sexual and emotional abuse, obviously it sounds like an emotional abuse. You can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's like imprisonment. That's not a relationship. That's like, so that emotional abuse is what you would describe what Chloe says on her letter. Obviously, emotional abuse is a serious thing. It's not something to joke about. And Chris has denied it. And so right now we're on the he said, she said level. Now, I'm not taking anybody's side here. I'm not siding with Chloe's or Chris. And you're like, come on, Rama, you're trying to be neutral. You don't want to take the heat, right? You want to get the heat. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just that, excuse me, unlike Kevin Spacey or Harvey Weinstein and Louis C.K., right now, at this stage, we don't have evidence yet. We don't have any proof. It's only he said, she said. Now, I almost always tend to believe the women. I always lean towards that. But at this point, for example, right, when I believe was it Olivia Munn who did an expose or an article revealing Louis C.K.'s sins. Louis C.K. masturbated, I think, in front of her in the trailer. That kind of stuff. Louis C.K. did it to, I think, I want, correct me if I'm wrong, not just her, but a bunch of other women. So it was a pattern. And what Olivia experienced, other witnesses can corroborate it. All right. So can validate her claims. Whereas it's only Chloe's word. I haven't heard. Maybe I missed out. Let me know if somebody has corroborated Chloe's claims. If other witnesses have come forward regarding, Chris's abuse of Chloe, let me know. Because I haven't heard about it yet. So there's no evidence. There's no witness corroborating. I can't pronounce that term correctly. I'm sorry. I'm an immigrant. So, and then I don't see the pattern yet. All right. And I'm talking about, like, I want to hear from Lydia. I know it sounds selfish and jerkish of me for saying that. Like, oh, you wanna bring Lydia Hurst into this, Chris's wife. But yeah, I mean, like, if Chris did that abuse to Chloe, we are creatures of habit. We humans are creatures of habit. And especially people who are powerful, when they get away with one crime, usually they're like, oh man, I can get away with this shit. Let me try this again. Let me do it on that other girl or on that other girl. So that's what I mean by pattern. Like, does Chris abuse Lydia? I mean, the things that Chris allegedly do to Chloe, does he do that to Lydia? All right. Is there a pattern? Is there other ex-girlfriends that can come forward and corroborate it? So right now, there's none of those things. So I'm not siding with Chris. I'm not siding with Chloe's. I'm just saying, like, that's why when AMC suspended the show and it says that pending investigation, I'm like, good. I'm all for it. Investigate it. Investigate the shit out of it. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's get to the truth. Let's see who says the real stuff. All right. Because I don't want, I'm a big supporter of the Me Too movement, but I don't want Me Too movement to be based on he said, she said, because then that would take the credibility out of Me Too movement. People would start questioning Me Too movement's validity, and it's like, if we just jump on Chris without evidence, without witnesses, without pattern, so I want Me Too to continue to root out the bad guys, but it has to be done in a solid justice-based matter, to say the least. Because at the end of it, it's gonna be Chris Hardwick's career that's gonna be in jail. And if that should be the case, if ending his career should be the punishment for it, then that punishment should not come from the court of Twitter opinion. I'm not even saying court of public opinion, but court of Twitter opinion. um, so it needs to come from something that's more solid than just the court of Twitter opinion. All right, because this is somebody's career. Both Chloe's career and um, Chris's career, because Chloe said that allegedly Chris blacklisted her. Like she couldn't find jobs, or she couldn't get the jobs that she was supposed to get because Chris called around and told those guys not to hire her. So we need to investigate if that is the case, if that's the truth. So and if that is the truth, if Chloe says it's real, then yeah, then Chris Hardwick's a douche. Then I'll be on the side of. Then I will take that side. I will take Chloe's side. Until then, let's let the investigation continue its process. And I totally understand. On a last point, I totally understand why AMC, why Doctor Who, BBC America, why Nerdist, why Legendary, why they wanted to distance themselves right now from Chris Hardwick's name. I totally get that. I totally get that. That's, even though it's still, like I said, it's still being investigated. We don't have the clear conclusion yet. But I totally get that because from a business standpoint, right? I own a small business. And if you guys own small businesses, you don't want any type of toxic name, or potentially toxic name, to be associated with your business. That'll be bad for business. Your customers won't come to you. you know so I totally get that. From a business standpoint, it's a wise move. But yeah, let's hopefully this whole thing doesn't just like evaporate in the next week. Hopefully we'll hear some more development about it, and hopefully that development is something more concrete and more conclusive than just he said, she said. So yeah, those are my thoughts about the whole Chris Hardwick controversy. And that's the last of the topics on today's Rocking It with Rama Screen Live. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. Again, reminder, go watch my collaborative video with Tyler Calvert tomorrow about Jurassic Park 25th anniversary. I will be reviewing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom on Tuesday, so make sure you watch my video review of that. I want to give a shout out of thanks to Robert Pattinson and Mia Wasikowska for allowing me to interview them this past week for the movie Damsel at the Damsel TV press junket. So make sure you go watch my interview with Mia Wasikowska and Robert Pattinson. On Rama Screen YouTube channel. Sorry. Did I just hit the table there? Go subscribe to the channel. All right. Ring the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, if you can help support Rama Screen, $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever, it can go a long way. So make sure you go to patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Become my patrons there today. Sign up. All right, let's rock this.